Hello friends, welcome back to Technique. In this video, we'll be looking at the camera review of the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G. So Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G is a successor of the Moto Edge 50 Pro 5G, which did come up with a really good camera setup. Now the Moto Edge 60 Pro also comes with a similar hardware, but it has been improved compared to the previous generation. So let's find out how good the camera experience is on the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G. So let's begin. So before that, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's start. So first, let's have a look at the hardware offered. Now the primary camera on the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G is a Sony Lightyear 700C 50 megapixel sensor with f1.8 aperture, and optical image stabilization is included, and it also comes with face detection autofocus. Now the secondary camera is an upgraded 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 120-degree field of view, and you get quad pixel technology and f2.0 aperture. Now third camera is a telephoto lens. It's a 10 megapixel telephoto. It's a 3x optical zoom and up to 50x super zoom. Again, you have the aperture value of f2.0. Now that camera also comes with optical image stabilization. Now there is also a fourth 3-in-1 light sensor included in the rear camera setup. Now in terms of selfie camera, you get a 50 megapixel selfie camera. It's a f2.0 aperture, and you get a pretty good experience as well. Now both the rear and the front camera can record videos only in 4K 30 fps. 4K 60 fps is missing. So let's go straight into the camera samples to see how it performs. So looking at the daylight captures taken with this device, so you can see here there is good amount of details, plenty of sharpness levels available, and the colors are nice and white. Although it's slightly on the cooler tone, but still very good in terms of details and sharpness levels. And overall clarity of the images taken in daylight conditions looks good. The sky colors are slightly boosted. It may not be the most realistic sky colors, but still acceptable, I would say. Not a major concern. And the dynamic range from the primary camera also looks good. The colors are quite good, although there is a hint of saturation, but not a major concern once again. Overall, I would say the primary 50 megapixel camera has done a quite good job in terms of detail, sharpness levels, and it's definitely a satisfactory camera in this price segment, and it won't disappoint users. Now moving on to the telephoto lens, the 3x 10 megapixel camera can take some really good shots, and the 3x zoom works pretty well. The colors are also pretty good, and the details and sharpness levels also looks pretty good. So overall, I would say the telephoto lens does quite a good job overall. Although the dynamic range could be a tad better, but still not a major concern. Overall, I would say the telephoto lens does a quite good job overall. Now moving on to the ultra wide angle camera, the 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera can take some really good images. The sky colors are good. It is very much similar to the primary camera in terms of details and sharpness levels, but the dynamic range could be a tad better, but nevertheless the 50 megapixel shooter is quite usable and does a good job overall. Now you can also take pretty good close-up shots using the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G, and they have also come pretty good. The good details and sharpness levels, and in the color reproduction also looks good. So overall, I would say the close-up shots taken with the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G came out pretty good. Now there is also macro camera. You can see that it does quite good job, although colors are slightly washed out, but still the macro sensor in this price segment does a good job, and overall the details are quite good. Now moving on to the portraits, this is one area where we feel Moto Edge 60 Pro disappoints a bit because the skin tones are not realistic. You can see that there is a drastic change in terms of skin tones. So you can see this is reddish in nature, but the other one was kind of different experience. So the skin tones are not really that good. You get 4 different focal length for taking portraits, but then overall the edge detection from the portraits also was not that impressive. So portrait is one area where we are kind of disappointed with the experience, especially the skin tones, and edge detection was kind of very much average. This happened with all the focal length, and it was not that impressive. Now let's moving on to the low light experience. Here I would say the primary camera did a quite good job. The details and sharpness levels are once again acceptable, and the night mode also does a good job, especially with the optical image stabilization available. It is quite a good shooter. A good amount of details and sharpness levels are also available in the low light experience. So there is nothing much to complain here in terms of low light experience. Overall, a pretty good camera. in this price segment. Now moving on to the selfie camera, the 50 megapixel shooter is capable of good selfies. You can see that the colors are good, the skin tones are much better than the portrait shots, and the dynamic range is really nice. And here you would say the edge detection was quite acceptable, but again there are missed edges similar to the rear camera. There are some missed edges. So one area where Moto needs to fix is the edge detection of portrait photos. Now moving on to the video recording. Now it can record videos in 4K 30 FPS. That's kind of disappointing for a phone price 30,000. There is no 4K 60 FPS available. And the stabilization looks quite okay. There is optical image stabilization and does a quite good job, although there is a bit of jitter happening here and there, but overall I would say it's quite smooth and the colors are slightly cooler tone, but overall I would say it's quite decent. Now here is the 1080p 60 FPS, very similar in terms of experience, and it can record videos in 1080p 30 FPS as well. Now if you're using telephoto, you can still shoot 4K 30 FPS. Once again, it's quite good in terms of details and sharpness levels, but 10 megapixel has its own disadvantages. There is a bit of noise creeping in, but still it's quite acceptable, I would say. Now the ultra wide angle camera once again can do 4K 30 FPS, which is quite good again, but the dynamic range could have been tad better, but overall I would say it's quite a satisfactory experience. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G. It can record videos in 4K 30 FPS. So you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output. So that was the camera review of the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G. So Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G has pretty good hardware for the price segment, and the rear camera does a good job in terms of details, the sharpness levels, colors are quite acceptable, although there is a hint of saturation at times, but nevertheless the primary camera did a good job even in low light experience. Or if it comes to the macro shots, the telephoto lens also did a good job in terms of daylight conditions. The ultra wide angle camera also was quite acceptable. Where the Moto Edge 60 Pro fails is in terms of human subjects. The skin tones in terms of human subjects were kind of mixed performance, and it was not very accurate, nor the edge detection in portraits were accurate. So one area where Moto needs to fix is the skin tones when it comes to portraits and even regular shots. The skin tones were not very accurate. In fact, it was not consistent as well. Some of the shots were kind of reddish in nature, while some were kind of very much cooler tone. So it's not consistent, and that's one area where Moto needs to improve. That's the camera review of the Moto Edge 60 Pro 5G. So what do you guys think about the cameras on the Moto Edge 60 Pro? Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Amar signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.